October the 5th, 1783, Pastor John Ryland writes in his diary, "This day I baptized in the river Nene a poor journeyman shoemaker. His name was William Carey." In the Western world, when we think modern missions, we often think William Carey. He was born in Paulsbury in the Eastern Midlands in England, and when he was 18 years of age, he attended a prayer meeting that would change his life. He heard someone expounding on Hebrews 13:13, where we read, "Therefore, let us go forth to him outside the camp, bearing his reproach." And the application for his life meant that he would throw his lot in with the dissident groups at that time, like the Baptists. And it's fascinating how often the Lord will use people who are outside the margins of mainstream Christianity to accomplish great things for him. At 25 years of age, Carey is now a young pastor, and as he is attending a meeting for ministers in his area, he brought up the question of the responsibility of Christians to bring the gospel to the whole world. At that point, one of the presiding ministers replied to him, "Young man, sit down, sit down. When God pleases to convert the heathen, he will do it without your aid and mine." Carey left that meeting, and that answer didn't satisfy him. And several years later, he published a missionary manifesto, an 87-page study entitled "An Inquiry into the Obligations of Christians to Use Means for the Conversion of the Heathen." And several months later, birthed out of this new publication and his speaking with other ministers, the first modern missionary society was founded in English, the Baptist Missionary Society, started by 12 pastors. William Carey was one of them, and so was John Ryland, who had baptized him several years before. These 12 founding pastors were from small churches in rural England, in the Eastern Midlands. 2 of those churches only had 25 people, but they were more and more convinced that God was calling their churches to spread the gospel in the world. And the very next year, the first missionary who was sent out and funded by this new missionary society was William Carey. Well, that's a study for another day, but we know that Carey would go to India, spend 41 years without a furlough, translating parts of the Bible into 25 languages, all because this young man refused to accept the status quo and had burning in his heart the desire to see people come to Jesus. Let that burning desire be in all of our hearts as well.